Money knows no gender. The hustle and heart of the emerging entrepreneur. Vimbai Masiyiwa is a 28-year-old businesswoman and executive director of Batoka Hospitality Limited, a purpose-driven hospitality company and the first black female-owned safari lodge. Hellen Dausen, founder and creative director of Nuya's Essence Zanzibar, is a former model, Miss Universe Tanzania, an entrepreneur, and an organic skincare formulator at Nuya's Essence, a natural bath and body care brand she founded in 2013. Yvonne Themba, Chief People Officer at McDonald's South Africa, an accomplished human resource and talent management professional with 15 years executive management experience. Yvonne Themba is a solutions-based strategist. Uganda's Dr. Nataliey Bitature is Chief of Staff and Board Member of SIMBA Group, an East African group of companies spanning various sectors including telecoms, education, energy, and real estate. And the moderator is Thami Nkadimeng, the message architect.
Fantastic. Awesome to see you all again with the lights on. I think I'm just going to jump right into the topic. I am known as a message architect, so words are very imperative to me. And when I looked at the topic, the two words that really stuck out to me were hustle and heart. And I'm going to start with you, Vimbai. I think when I think of hustle, automatically I think of money, and when I think of heart, I think of purpose. Now, with you being, I think we can safely say, emerging entrepreneur, what really drove you to becoming an entrepreneur?
Thank you so much, Thami. And it's a pleasure to be here with so many inspiring women, not only on this panel, but attending today. So I'm co-founder with my mother of Batoka Hospitality. We're a tourism and hospitality company. And for me, my journey started, why I decided to do this when I went to Victoria Falls for the first time as an adult. And we were staying at a beautiful property, but one of the things that you see as you drive through, and this is very common, most beautiful establishments on this continent, is you see extreme poverty. And for me, it just, it hurts so much when you drive through these neighborhoods and you're getting to this 5-star property and getting to enjoy the luxuries of the continent and from all over the world. And I thought to myself, if we're going to exist in this space, our role in this industry is to transform the communities that we exist in. So for me, purpose-driven entrepreneurship is at the heart of what I do and why I've decided to work in the tourism and hospitality industry.
We will touch on some of the barriers and the boundaries when it comes to female entrepreneurs, but I want to just touch on this with you, Hellen. Despite the barriers that women entrepreneurs face, we just see more and more female entrepreneurs emerging. Do you think it's because we want to hustle so that we can create jobs for ourselves? Because if nobody else is going to do it, we'll do it.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. I would say there's a rise of female entrepreneurs, at least for my country, in the past 5 years, is simply because we want to fill a void and we want to fill a space that nobody else was doing or has been occupied. Example for me, when I started my business, there were no natural skincare products in my country that I could identify with. And I must say, Nuya's Essence, we produce natural skincare products, and it's the first natural or organic skincare brand in my country. So I felt there is a need I needed to fill. Not necessarily I wanted to be there and do something and be seen with something, but it's something that I wanted to use for myself, and I saw many women were looking for natural products, organic products, because my personal journey is suffering from a lot of hormonal imbalance. I felt I needed to create skincare products that are natural, that are pure, so that I can be able to help myself and other women who are going through the journey. So it's more or less having an opportunity and being able to have a vision and an idea that can fill that void in the society or in the market.
I like that. You know, you touched on quite an important piece when you said there was nobody you could identify with. And
Yes.
we've got to have people that we identify with. And that goes to the gender. And I think part of a topic is money knows no gender. Do you think money knows no gender?
I would agree. Money is a tool. How we use it depends on us as people, like anything else, like technology, like communications, like social media. So there's a spectrum. You can use it in a positive way or in a negative way. Unfortunately, money is being used as a tool in a patriarchal system. So now that there are more women on the table, we have more voices, we're involved in design, in tech, in business, in politics. We are able to shape where the money goes and use it in new ways that haven't been done before. Because women are an untapped force of potential in the whole world. Just to have an event like this that brings women together is massive. To have a day where we celebrate women's achievements, but also highlight the gaps where there's still inequality, there's still not enough women, there's still not enough equity. These are the things that we need to continue to do, and then women will have more agency, because agency is about access to resources, and money is one of the most powerful resources in the society that we live in today.
So Yvonne, if money has no gender, by the way, shout out to Yvonne. She's from McDonald's, so please, a big shout out to McDonald's today.
Thank you very much.
The first time I ever ran into the story of McDonald's was through Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I mean, from then on, we are now sitting with about 90%, am I correct, franchisees who own and operate the restaurants. So when you make the decisions on, selecting these franchisees, do you take into consideration their gender?
We absolutely do. And I'll just give you a couple of statistics. 60% black, 30% women, and of that, you have at least one woman owning 4 restaurants, and that's quite a big deal.
Oh, wow.
And when you want to be an owner-operator, you would go online and fill in the form, and you'd go through a selection process, and if you're successful, you would go on a 6 to 12 months training. However, you do know that McDonald's is one of the most expensive franchisees, but it's also one of the most profitable. So it would be one that we would inclusively want a lot more black women and all women to think of.
Great. Yeah. If you didn't know, so Hellen comes from Tanzania. I hope you paid attention. She's a former Miss Universe from Tanzania. And they, of course, have a female president at the moment. And I just want to get some insights, coming from you, from Tanzania. Does it make it easier with somebody in leadership who's a female, for the female and emerging entrepreneurs?
Yes and no. And I can speak from my experience being a beauty queen and leading in social aspect, and then now running a business. It hasn't been easy. It really hasn't been easy, because as much as you're a leader, as much as people are used to see you in a certain way, but when you're running a business, you start from scratch, and you start knocking on doors, start looking for funding. So it helps in some way, but not in all the way.
Okay. And Vimbai, when you look at stats, a lot of the female entrepreneurs prefer to be lone entrepreneurs versus partnerships. And I was glad to hear you say co-founder, and I think this is quite apt for you to answer. I just want your insight. Why do you think females prefer to be lone entrepreneurs instead of us actually gathering together in order to fight these barriers?
I think, one of the things that it's not women who struggle with it, but what society struggles with is just how powerful women are, how skilled they are, how intelligent they are, and that I think women have this strong will to accomplish something that they set their eye to, and it's very difficult to be in business and partner with somebody who just doesn't believe that that's what you have in you. So a lot of the times it's easier for us to go along on our own. For me, I went with my mom because my dad
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
quite sure that, I could do the business as I'd said. But my mom really believed in the vision that I had. And my father's always been a supporter of entrepreneurship. He supports us, but his method is, come, let me teach you a little bit longer. And I said, I think I'm ready to leave the nest. And he's a father, he's protective. He was like, oh, I don't know. But my mom's different. She's also built something. So she said, well, if you believe you can do it, then go for it. What's there to hold you back? And that's the challenge that I believe a lot of women face and why I think they choose to go along on their own.
Makes sense. So Nataliey, we often hear a lot of talks about what the barriers are, and I think everybody in the audience knows what the barriers are. If you could pick two of the barriers for me and just explain how you overcame them as an emerging woman entrepreneur, because there's some, I'm sure, women in the crowd who may be facing the same barriers, and your lessons could possibly then help them as well.
Sure. I think one of the big barriers for women is access to mentors. Because there's training, there's education, that's something women really understand now at every socioeconomic level. So girls are getting more educated. But you get to a point where you need to be able to ask questions. You need someone to tell you what it's really like, not just what the theory is. You need someone to guide you and support you. So in my businesses, I had my father for the first few years. And then about 23, 24, I started to realize his experience of business and the world is just not mine. He's not a woman. He doesn't understand what it's like to be mocked or to be undermined or to not be taken seriously just because of who you are. So I had to start actively looking for female mentors. And at first he didn't understand why. But once I started spending time with women and understanding, why do you dress this way? Why do you speak this way? How you prepare? Men just don't have the same experience. And so having access to mentors who are women ahead of me, who've walked the path, who've gone through the struggles, but have the compassion to look back and to help the younger generation made such a huge difference in my career. So I make as much time as possible to spend time with other women, to answer questions, to respond to social media DMs, to do workshops, to speak, because I think it's one of the biggest things that can impact your career as a woman, just to have someone to guide you or to lean on to ask specific questions. And then the other one I'd say a lot of women struggle with, especially in Africa, is access to capital. Just simply because of the history, the culture, the laws, the self-confidence to try and walk into a bank or to get a loan or to fill out the paperwork, to have the KYC done, to have people trust you and lend you money. We don't have the same kind of networks that men do, but I found that networking really makes a big difference. The more you practice, the more you meet people, attend events, get out there, you connect. Because at the end of the day, yes, a bank gives you a loan, but it's a human being. It's a person that has to believe in you, in your business, in your story. If you're going to an angel investor, if you're fundraising or crowdfunding or going to a community, you need to be able to sell that. And so I feel like working with women and seeing them grow through their networks, through public speaking, these soft skills have opened up access to capital in an informal way. And I think in Africa, that's something that we really need.
I'm going to stick with you because you explained mentoring with conviction. And I think we may have a lot of young people also just either watching online or even in the crowd. I mean, I saw a couple of young ladies that have come here with their mom. Do you think we maybe need to demystify the difference between mentoring and coaching? Because you said mentoring was the barrier that you had to overcome, not necessarily coaching. How would you demystify that so that they know the difference if they want to be an emerging entrepreneur between mentorship and coaching?
It's a great question. I think we use mentorship as like an overarching term, just to make it easy, so that girls know you need a mentor. Let's start there. So now there's different types of mentors, not just a coach. A coach is something that is super useful. I have several coaches. I do lots of coaching. One of my teammates always calls me coach. And it's something to help to grow you. But coaching is about guiding you. It's not about giving you advice. It's about asking you the right questions to help you figure things out as you go along. It's more like encouragement and technical support. You can hire coaches, you can learn about it, you can view it online. But there's lots of different types of mentors. historically, a lot of mentorship is about coaching, encouraging someone, giving them good advice, giving them the right questions, suggestions. But there's also mentors who are sponsors, who will open doors for you within an organization, or who will nominate you for things and suggest you for things. Because I think with mentorship, it's about finding the right relationship, building that rapport, and being grateful for the time and any kind of expertise this person is giving you. Whether it's a book recommendation, it's inviting you to a conference that you could not get into otherwise, it's suggesting something to you, or asking you the hard questions, or holding you accountable. So there's so many things that fall within mentoring. And I think once young women get used to finding a mentor, having a mentor, cultivating that relationship, they will start to notice the differences and know, this one, I should ask for this one can help me with that. Because mentors are also very busy women. They also have their own challenges, and as all women are juggling so many things at the same time. So it's about finding that right balance so that it's a give and take. Because there's a lot of joy that comes from mentoring as well. So you want to be a good mentee and make your mentor proud, and they'll keep introducing you and keep advising you and coaching you to help you grow in your career.
And I want to hop on that point about juggling. So I am the CEO of the Thami Nkadimeng group. So I started that in 2019. And the truth is, there is no such thing as juggling or balancing when you're a woman. Something's got to give at some point for a period in time. And you just hope that the ball doesn't drop and break. You hope you catch it quickly, and then the next ball goes and you catch it. But I find that in my journey, I had to make sure that I fought very hard for the hustle, and my mental health actually took quite a knock, because I thought, okay, I need to build this empire. I'll take the mental health knock, and then I'll go and fix it again once this is standing. And did you face a similar situation, Vimbai, when you were starting your company? First, let's start with, do you think there's such a thing as balance for female entrepreneurs?
So I make this joke. I said I went through a period where I'd schedule 15 minutes to cry, just because entrepreneurship, people management, questions, just life, COVID, it's all a very difficult journey, right? And I love the fact that you bring up, how do we look after our mental health on this journey? And it's, yes, we want to achieve something great. And a lot of times we're trying to catch up with our male counterparts. But if you're not pouring into your jar, there's no way you can give into anyone or anything else. So at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of, your business or society, whatever group you've chosen to serve in your business, it's for their benefit that you take a step back and look after yourself along the journey. And it's simple practices like you have to commit sometimes to take a couple of hours off, or to take a day off. It's not realistic to do it all the time, because a lot of the times as entrepreneurs, we're doing multiple functions in our businesses. Your finance, your marketing, your HR, your everything. So it won't be realistic to say every single week take 24 hours where you don't look at your phone. But you do have to make a conscious effort to step back and ask yourself, how am I doing? How can I feed myself in order to, and when I say feed, I'm obviously not referring to food, but like, how do I look after myself in order to serve my business and my community better? That's the only way that I believe we can be sustainable in how we fulfill our purposes.
I'm glad you said that, because I thought maybe it's just me who doesn't know how to balance it. And I think I'd mastered the art of balancing stuff in the corporate world. I was in corporate for 20 years before I just quit, and I decided to start my own thing. And this, I just want to lend from Minister Naledi Pandor when she says we've got to know the difference between progress and success. And I found that being an entrepreneur, the progress that's in corporate world versus the progress in entrepreneurship are chalk and cheese, and the successes are chalk and cheese. Did you find the same thing that happened?
I could say the difference between progress and success, you really have to define it for yourself.
Beautiful answer.
Yeah, because to every person is different. My progress could be your not so progressive. So personally, I set myself some goals and that I need to accomplish when it comes to designing products that customers want, when it comes to listening to their needs, when it comes to where I need at what particular time. Am I moving from where I am to where I need to be at a certain time? So if I see that I'm making that kind of progress, I can translate it to success if I have a big picture of what a success means to me personally. But if I'm moving from one point to another, example, if I'm starting up with no money or little money, and in a few months I can be able to get startup money, I can move to have growth money and expansion, that for me is progress. And when I look back at my journey personally, I could say I made big progress from where I was and where I'm going. And what I want to accomplish, I could also say I'm successful when I'm progressing from one stage to another.
So when I was looking through stats about what entrepreneurs actually consider before they go into entrepreneurship, a lot more women consider their own training and self-development than their male counterparts. Do you think that it's because we're not brave enough to learn while we're in it, Yvonne? Or why do we even consider that versus our male counterparts who are more likely to just fall in it and fix it along the way? We want to be properly put together before we try something out. Do you want to weigh in on that?
I always wonder why women do that. Why they expect to be 150% ready, and men will just step in and say, I'm ready for the role.
Right.
In our organization, we actively look out for our women. We are 61% women-led. We have 64% of our restaurant managers are women. So we actively enhance them and make sure that they're made ready now and not ready in the future. So you actually actively a part of their training right through the system. Like I said earlier on, with 30% owner-operators, and our leadership is 40% women. So this is not a mistake. It doesn't happen overnight. It is dedicated focus on women and in making sure that you're leader. Actually, it's gone up to 46% women-led. We promoted 2 more women. So I would have wanted to tell the Minister, Nataliey, that this company looks after its women. So women should also themselves step up to the plate and say, I am ready. My individual development plan is in place, and put my hand up and say, I'm ready for the next level.
I love that. Entrepreneurship is not just doom and gloom. So just in a very succinct manner, please, we'll start from this side. What do you enjoy about entrepreneurship as a female?
I love that it's different every day. It's challenging, it's problem solving, you get to interact with customers, suppliers, your teams, your staff, your stakeholders. So no day is ever the same. It's a really fulfilling journey to provide services, products, solutions, innovations, and the sky is the limit. Like you can constantly keep innovating and improving. And I think my team thinks I'm a little bit crazy because it's always, this was great, so now next time, let's do it bigger, let's do it better, let's improve it. And I think that's the fun for it, for me.
Fantastic. What do you enjoy about entrepreneurship?
I wish we had started with a hate about entrepreneurship. Well, I could say the creativity part of it. That's the most enjoyable title in my job. And I enjoy mixing up different plant oils and listening to customers and what they're looking for the next product, and being able to think which essential oil is much better, which one smells better, or we work well with certain skin types. So the whole process of me thinking about the idea in my head, putting it on paper, and having different ingredients for me to mix and understand, and having tasting it, giving it to my friends and my family and a few customers to see their reaction, and waiting, okay, what is it going to be? That for me is the adrenaline I look for every single day, and it's never the same. The day I started 10 years ago and up to now, I still get goosebumps when I'm working with new things. So that's the most enjoyable part about entrepreneurship for me, is the creativity.
Fantastic. What do you enjoy about entrepreneurship? Very, very high level answer.
I feel as an entrepreneur, you're constantly having to learn, and you're constantly having to make a conscious decision to upskill yourself in various areas. So not just what you specialize in and the industry you've chosen to go into, but across board.
Can I say something?
Yes,
Just
do you
as
want to
an
say something
observer
quickly? Yes.
of these entrepreneurs here, I would like for us to interrogate that emerging. These ladies look well emerged. Actually, we should say successful entrepreneurs.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my panel.